Here she comes. We're just waiting on Marjolein Robertson. Here she comes. Welcome to the podcast,
Okay.
Marjolein Robertson.
Airplane mode activated.
Professional.
So is this how close it'll be to my face?
This is it. We're going.
Okay.
We're already. We're rolling.
Well, I was peeing.
We are.
Did you hear me walking out of the toilet going, oh no, because I unzipped my brakes? They're zipped up now. They're zipped up now. Oh, they weren't fully zipped up. There they are.
we didn't get any of that. But
I just drinking so I can go pee again because it was a lot of fun.
brilliant. Oh, right. What you were saying just before we were about to hit record, you went, I've been thinking about what I would do if I was on stage and shit kicked off. What would you do? Marjolein Robertson?
I think about shit kicking off all the time.
What's your ideal dream shit kicking off scenario? What's the one that you fantasize about the most?
German terrorists stealing
German
billions of pounds.
terrorists.
Just like Die Hard.
German terrorists did what?
I almost failed my degree because I used to sit in the university library and just imagine if like Hans came in there and what I'd have to do, and I'd have to crawl around and I'd have to pull off my shoes and run over broken glass and just be like, oh, I'm so tough.
So you're Bruce Willis, deep down. Deep down, you identify as Bruce Willis.
That or zombies. Those are the two.
I mean, German terrorists, that's a throwback right there.
I know.
You're not getting many of them these days. That's pretty good. So that's your ultimate.
Yeah, I know, that's how I can take them. There's none.
So you're thinking then they come in, then what happens? What do you do? What do you do to save the gig?
At a comedy club, I've always just been like, pull it out mic, throw mic at their face so they're being distracted by the mic. Well, you jump over every table and then launch into them and then just...
Right, they've got guns on. Right, they've got guns, like freeze.
I'm dealing with one person at a time.
There's 9 of them.
Everyone else, Bernard's watch the rest so they're all frozen in time. Okay.
There's
I
9
haven't
of
thought
them.
about more than one person. That's really confusing. Oh, get my tits out. I don't know.
What? That's how you end your set. You can't do that.
One
Right,
day.
so you're anticipating one lonely German terrorist coming in. You're going to throw the mic at him. It's definitely going to hit his head. It's definitely going to hit his head, because if it doesn't, you've just lost your best weapon.
I'm the worst throw in the world. But I aim for his eyes, so he's looking at that coming, so he's distracted.
Do you live in a cartoon? You get the mic stand. You got the mic stand.
No, because when the mic, as soon as I throw the mic, I'll start jumping over the tables at him. Everyone else is clearing out the way. It's like a music video.
Right.
And I'm like Jamiroquai. And then I launch my way at him, get the gun, butt his nose and break his nose into his own face with the butt of his own gun.
Oh, poor guy.
And then turn the gun around and pepper spray his face.
Pepper spray with a gun.
I mean, like
You just shoot the guy's fucking face off.
It's the only time I'll be allowed.
I don't think you're allowed. But this is good. This is classic podcast stuff. How would Marjolein Robertson kill a terrorist, a German terrorist?
Maybe I wouldn't have to. Maybe I just have to disarm him.
I mean, I think, Mike, you're in the right. I think you're in the ballpark, but shooting them in the face, Jesus Christ. And then everyone will be like telling the police afterwards, like, "What? How did Marjolein disarm him?" She didn't. She just shot him in the face. She shot him in the face multiple times. And by her words, pepper sprayed him in the face.
Quadruple tap.
So that's the only scenario you play out in your head?
I like to play out scenarios where I have like a successful TV show, or
right.
you know those ones like when you do career high scenarios.
Yeah. Social fantasy.
Yeah, they're like, I'm BAFTA again.
What's the TV show? What do you win the BAFTA for?
The TV show I like to make.
Exclusive.
I'm not going to share it here. No offense, Ralph.
We'll bleep it out. We'll bleep out the next 3 minutes when you tell us the idea.
And
that's your fantasy.
Attached at the hip the whole time.
You win the BAFTA.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think so. I never really thought about what I daydream about that much.
Now we're putting you on the spot.
What do you daydream about, Ralph?
I don't know. I used to daydream about, like, weirdly beating the shit out of David Cameron.
Okay, political.
Not weirdly. I don't know why. I just used to always have this thing. I don't know why. I just always be like, oh,
This
fucking.
is for the pigs.
Yeah. We'll fuck them in the mouth, not you. I don't know why.
Who's squealing now?
This is exactly what was going through my head.
And
as
that's
well.
when he would come.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
like
yeah. I
eating
would be
fun.
inside them the whole time.
That's eating fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know why, but that used to be the one that used to play over my head. Like, I don't know if I was beating the shit out of him, but I used to like just think, I fucking hate that guy. And I hate them all. I hate all of them, but he's the one that stood out as a smarmy little fuck.
Yeah.
So
when was this daydream happening?
I mean, probably. When's this been? It's been over 10 years now since I've been daydreaming about fucking David Cameron. Now, as I
It's
call
in
him
fucking him up. Not
All
fucking
right,
him.
sorry. Sorry, that's a different podcast.
The only problem there is that he's a Tory now. But yeah, I actually have to be thankful to David Cameron and the whole pighead gate.
Oh, why is that?
Because I think I talked to him last time I was on here about when I was in Amsterdam.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
And I don't know if I even mentioned this bit of the story, but
It was David Cameron that robbed your house. Could have been.
he's robbed us all.
He has robbed us. He's robbed us of our future.
Yeah. But no, it's, so when I left Amsterdam and I started doing stand-up, but then I moved home really shortly afterwards. And there's this year and a half of, I call it like the funk, because I don't really remember 2014-15 very well.
Cool.
But towards the end of the year and a half of funk, I was in New York, went to go do the improv course at UCB.
Sweet.
Because I just wanted to get good enough at improv that I could teach in Shetland so I could improvise with others. Because I wanted to do something fun again and something performative and comedy.
Class. Is that the Upright Citizens Brigade?
Yeah. It's not running in New York anymore, I don't think. And just Los Angeles. So I did the 101 course, and when I was doing it, I was going to watch shows every night, and there's some stand-up shows you could put your name in the bucket, or like, it was like the Blue Lamp and all these like amazing comedy places. And I can't remember where it was I ended up being on stage. But the reason I was like, I'm going to do stand-up wasn't just because I want to do stand-up in New York. It was because I found out everyone I spoke to in New York, no one knew David Cameron had sex with a pig's head.
Oh, really?
No one. And I was like, the people need to know.
Oh, God,
the people
yeah.
need to know. So I literally went to comedy nights just so I could go on stage and be like,
Guess what?
so our prime minister is kind of like your president.
Guess what
had
he's
sex
up
with
to?
a pig. I can't remember what the routine was. I just really wanted to tell
It's a
people.
great thing to just launch on a stage and just be
Yeah.
like, David Cameron's shagging pigs in the mouth.
So if he hadn't shafted that gammon, I would have never.
Shafted that Cameron?
I don't know if I'd be doing stand-up. Like, I have something to actually be thankful to the Tories for.
I
Isn't that
mean,
funny?
like, it's not. We're not going to endorse them on this podcast, but shaft and gammon is probably one of the favourite phrases I've ever heard in my life. That's what the episode is going to be called.
Oh, no.
Shaft and Gammon with Marjolein Robertson.
Don't knock it till you try.
I mean, what does it come to that's... This is very topical, by the way. We're coming at some 2014 stuff, but what's it take? What's it take for a man to go, I'm going to stick my dick in a pig's mouth?
I mean, it was dead, wasn't it? I mean, it has to be dead because you don't even put your finger near a pig's mouth.
But
One time I had to get my phone away from a pig when I was trying to eat it, and the owner of the pig was like, I wouldn't have even done that.
I mean, yeah, I forgot we're dealing with a farming expert, Marjolein Robertson.
I wouldn't, well, I'm more, sheep is more my forte.
Yeah, sheep's your...
Did you hear about the sheep in Shetland?
You know what, I actually did. Before this, I wonder what's been in the news about Shetland, right? And I went, Google, Shetland, go to the news bit, and it came up with a headline that would only make the headlines in Shetland. Are we talking about the ram?
Yeah.
The ram that got sold for £20,000.
Uh-huh. That's a lot for a Shetland ram, most it's ever been. I don't know what this next highest has been, but it cannot be anywhere scratching that.
Why is it such a good specimen of a ram?
Well, this story gets tied into my family in multiple layers.
I'm so glad I looked this up.
So for anyone who doesn't know, there's a crofter called Morley.
Can I just say, no one knows. I'm going to stop you there. No one knows.
By the end of this episode, you'll know him biblically. No, so Molly, I love Molly. Me and Molly get on really well. Sometimes I come home and there's fish in my sink. And I'm like, where are these fish from? And then 3 days later, I meet Molly. He's like, did you find the fish in your sink? And I'm like, they're from Molly. One time he left fish in my sink when I'd be going camping for 3 days.
Right. Oh, Molly.
So I never tell them, but those fish went straight to the ravens because I have these ravens that I feed. Anyway, so Molly's great. And
is that his first name?
Molly, yeah.
Second name? We're gonna
Thompson.
right. Okay. Cool name.
And lovely sheep he has. Lovely Murret sheep. Murret. Like he has white sheep and Murret sheep. Murret is like brown.
I know.
Our word for brown. Okay.
Wait,
But Molly and me have like a big...
Morley and me. And at the end of the film, Morley dies.
No! I don't want him to die. But I think
This is like the
I think I
Shetland
almost
spin-off.
gave him a heart attack this summer because I am like a 50+ old woman because I love nothing more than gardening naked. It is like my favorite thing to do in the world.
There's been some sentences on this podcast already that I've never been uttered on a podcast before. He comes in my house and just leaves fish in my sink. And I was like, do you know what? We're going to leave that one. That's not even worth coming up. We'll come back to that one later on.
There's another man who hangs fish on my door handle.
Of course he does.
One man once tied fish to my fence so well, I had to get a knife to get... Anyway, men love giving me fish. Like, and always older men too. It's like they think, oh, well, she can't fish for herself. She doesn't have a boat. So whenever I'm home, I'm like inundated with fish.
That is lovely.
Yeah.
Is that how you just like courting in Shetland? I think it is.
The number of men I promised myself to by eating their haddock. So I like gardening naked, and where I live is quite quiet. So unless the boys are working at sea opposite my house, and I can like tell when the neighbours are in, so I can tell when the neighbours are out during the day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, brilliant. So I take my clothes off and start gardening. But the one thing with Shetland is it's so windy all the time.
I was going to say, who in the right mind is getting into the buff, especially for gardening, for just that in cold Shetland air?
I don't think it's cold. I'm sweating right now.
Cool. Well, that's lovely to hear. This is a very air-conditioned room we're in. I just need to say that up top.
I wore
So what? How did you find out you get into naked gardening? How was there a time?
Is it
was
another
it-
lockdown? All lockdown.
Lockdown,
Everything comes
right.
from lockdown. Because lockdown I used to do yoga naked in the garden.
that
felt
makes
lovely.
that's acceptable. You people would do that, but then to get in the garden and sharp objects, Marjolein.
I never
You'd hurt
think these
yourself.
things through.
And so is that you will never do gardening.
I wear gloves and shoes.
Okay, that's sensible.
Yeah, I wouldn't strim naked. I wear a boiler suit for strimming.
If there are any children listening to this episode, please do not strim naked.
No, because you might get caught with it.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, strimming's a bit therapeutic. I love it. Strimming.
Yeah.
Love that shit. Love that. Get a wee blade.
We've got that
love
one
that.
like that.
Yeah, get the
But
one
then
you just wipe. Oh, I love that
Too
shit.
long and your hands are like this.
Yeah, have you ever done like a ride-on lawnmower, like Groundskeeper Willie?
No.
Oh, I've done it. I felt so Scottish. It was one of the best days of my life that I got to go on a ride-on lawnmower, and I was just doing this huge big bit of grass, and it was the fucking best day of my life.
That'd be amazing.
Top 5 days of my life.
One of my top 5 days of my life was the first time I went up a mountain. But that's not funny. That's just a story. So, basically I was gardening naked. I was trying to work out where to plant this flax plant. Last bit of gardening I needed to do. I said, where do I put flax plants? So I was walking around in the garden with this flax plant. It's a windy day. And he's at the top of the garden, right by the road and the gate to my neighbours. And I just looked around and holding his flax plant. And Molly was like coming right down the road in his pickup. And he couldn't drive any faster because all the sheep were, he's like, bring in the sheep. Oh my God. And I just looked at him, he looked at me. And I did this like weird speed walk, went to my house and then found the most flesh-coloured, tightest clothes I could find and put them on. So maybe he would have thought I was wearing clothes when he saw me the first time. Or he thought I was still naked. I don't know. But he's never given me fish since.
What a punchline! Just have you only now just realised?
That's my real life. It's not a joke.
He's never given me fish since.
No, but Dad said send him a birthday card, and then also Dad said send him a card to congratulate him for the ram.
Oh, so it's Morley's ram.
It's Molly's ram.
Fucking hell! Now we're back. Now we've got the story.
Well, it gets more further entwined, but I don't know if I should say the next bit.
What did you do to the ram?
I didn't do anything to the ram. It's just that I don't know. I don't think this bit should go on the radio. Not because it's rude.
The
not
radio.
because
Well, yeah,
it's-
we'll put this on the radio. I'll tell you what. Why don't we put this in the Patreon part?
Yeah.
Let's put this behind a paywall.
But
So if you
like-
want to hear this story, get on the Patreon.
There's no defamation of Molly's character. It's fact.
Molly will never hear this.
It's actually it's a nice boot Molly.
Right.
It's just I don't know if I can't say it's on the thing.
You can't. This won't go out in the public.
Okay.
So then we're going to cut back into the public bit. We're going to do the easy transition.
But
What a story.
The police would be interested in that.
And the ram's blood was everywhere.
Okay, that's not what the story was. It's not what it was. It's like, it's okay. Oh, yeah, it's not what it was.
Marjolein, you can also look at that.
Right. I've looked at that camera a lot, to be honest.
Right, so that's your other hobbies. You like gathering naked. That's how Molly caught you doing that. What else you do? What else are you doing up there?
Well, because that's what I like to do when I'm home, because I've got my garden at home. And also because I kept buying houseplants, but then I kept leaving home for months at a time.
Yeah,
I kept
they're all
dying.
dead.
So the ones outside, but the sheep keep trying to get in to eat them.
Classic
so it's
sheep.
always a nightmare when I come home whether the sheep have been into the garden or not.
I love it. I need to go to Shetland.
What else? What
Do you feel like, do you just kind of just go, can you just like shut off from the world for a while up there?
Well, that was the plan after the Fringe, to go home for the whole month.
Yeah.
And I got home because I don't know, the day, so the Fringe for me ended on the Monday, was the last show day.
Oh, you maniac.
Yeah, well, I'd done 3 hours on the Sunday because I did my show twice and the storytelling show for an hour.
Oof,
and then
work.
went to, and that was like the mad night.
What
Sam was so wasted. I thought I should help him into a taxi to get home. And then he's like, no, I'll be fine. I've never seen Sam so wasted in my life. He ended up at Arthur's seat. He ended up on top of Arthur's seat that night.
This is what they do. This is what people from like outside of Edinburgh, they think climbing Arthur's seat's this big like cultural thing.
I've done it.
Yeah,
I did it
and
on my
they're like,
graduation
we're going to
night.
climb Arthur's seat. I tell you what, if you ask me to climb Arthur's seat, I'm telling you to go fuck yourself. There's no way I'm climbing that shitty little hill for no reason at all.
I go up it weekly.
No, you don't.
Well, before the Fringe, I was going up it twice a week.
But it's funny, like all the English comedians at the end of the Fringe, like, we're going to go and climb Arthur's seat. And you're like, cool, we'll see you when you get back down. That sounds awful.
I would be honest, if I didn't have that show on the Monday, I maybe would have done it. All Fringe, I had an emergency alarm. So the emergency alarm was like, because I tended to always wake up about 11 a.m.
Class.
And then I'd have time to get ready to go do the play or the storytelling. But that wasn't the whole Fringe. That was like 2/3 of the Fringe. But even when I was just doing my stand-up show, I tend to wake up around 11, 12. And I'd have plenty of time to get to the show.
Yeah.
I always had this like emergency alarm on my phone at like 2:30 or something, which would mean like, you have to get up now.
Yeah.
And I never used it all Fringe until that Monday when I woke up after that mad night out. I woke up to my emergency alarm and be like, holy crap, if I'd sat through this.
Yeah.
Did my show.
How, like, we're on the scale of 1 hanging out my arse, 10 being absolutely rough as fuck. Where were you on the scale?
I don't really get hangovers. I'm really annoying.
God.
Yeah.
That is very annoying.
Yeah. I kind of had a pity hangover this summer where I'd been at the boat festival and I definitely didn't, like, got married to this man. And then we went out and we were out to like drinking and everything to like 7 or 8 in the morning. Then I went for a fry up by myself because he had to go back to the boat because he's working on a boat. Like, he's a sailor.
Class. Yeah.
That's why we think we got married, because the cat. And then I went back to the accommodation. I got like 2.5, 3 hours sleep, and then I had to get up and do storytelling for children for an hour. And then my mum and dad took me for lunch. And when I sat down to have lunch, I thought, oh, I might not be able to eat this. But then I ate it and I was fine. That was the closest I got to being hungover.
That was it. That was it. Oh, no, we're fine. We're all good.
Yeah.
Storytelling for children when you're almost hungover. I mean, that sounds awful. Is it good?
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you start, it's like Starter Showbiz kicks in.
Right.
So as soon as you start, and especially with storytelling, because like with stand-up, you're like, are they laughing? What's the reactions? What should I say next?
Kids, it
Are
doesn't
they
matter.
heckling? With storytelling, you just imagine the story. So
You just winging it as well.
yeah, you're just enjoying the story and forgetting there's an audience there because you're just having a fun time in Magic Land.
Are you standing up? Are you like what are you doing?
I
Are
always
you
stand up. Yeah.
got to stand up. You've got to stand
Stand
up.
up from the heart.
And you just kind of like walking around. Is there a mic?
No, just stand still at a microphone.
Right.
People have reviewed it as like it was an interesting choice to stand starkly still, but it worked and lended itself well to the story. I was like, I stand still for every story I ever tell. I was like, I didn't know I was meant to move a bit.
Yeah. I mean, so that's all right. So are the children grateful?
Yeah, there's lots of adults there as well. It was just like chatting folk tales every day for 3 days in a row.
Where was this?
At part of the Tall Ships Festival where I met my sailor man who I married.
Did you actually marry? Are you gonna have to get that annulled?
I don't think we actually married.
Well,
it was just like a
fun, a wee fun bit of flirting.
fun bit of wedding with the sailor.
Little did you know, he now is entitled to half of your garden and half of your fish.
I mean, that man has a good job, so he's going to be the one who should be worried.
Yeah.
Oh, Yeah.
It's all right. You kept in touch?
Yes, but we've not messaged for a while.
It's a shame.
How's the kids? Who had met the Barons? I don't know.
Oh, man, I love all the kind of shit you do. You do kind of all the stuff like storytelling. How'd you get into that? Like just storytelling in public? How'd you get into that?
Again, that actually started in Amsterdam, kind of.
It all comes back to
That
Amsterdam.
fateful year, I hated that. She's worked it really well.
It's got a lot to answer for that. David Cameron and Amsterdam.
Yeah. Well, the storytelling was because I have always been into Shetland folklore.
Yeah.
I've always been into folklore. I've always been stories. Like when I was a pitty bairn, I'd always read Brothers Grimm. Like as soon as I could kind of read, I'd read the Brothers Grimm books. And have you read them? They're dark.
No,
I was
I've never read them.
obsessed. Like there's like one called My Brother's Bread or something. And it's this woman, she has all these children.
Right.
And her husband passes away and she has lots of children. She can't afford to feed them. One by one, the children are starving to death. So she goes to a rich brother-in-law and begs just for a mouthful of food for her and each of her children.
Good.
And the brother-in-law is like, no, she'll start scrounging around me too often. So he just kicks her out. And then he goes home. She goes
David
home
Cameron.
and leaves. Yeah. And he gets this loaf out the bread box, or do you know what? Out the oven. It's an old story. He gets his loaf of bread and he cuts it open. As he cuts it open, blood pours all over his table. And in that moment, the mother and her last child are dying. So when he goes to try and help her, his hand's covered in the blood from the bread, he finds them all dead in their house.
It's a harrowing tale.
And that's the stories I loved, man.
You loved it, man.
Like, yeah.
More of them. Children, sit comfortably. I'm going to tell you some shit.
So I've always been obsessed. But in Amsterdam, I met a storyteller and didn't know you could do it for money.
I didn't know you could do that either.
Yeah, so
I love storytelling.
this is going to sound like one of those... sometimes I'm scared it sounds like I'm making them up.
Right, okay.
But basically, they were running the Storytelling School for Peace. And
Peace.
An international storytelling school for peace. And they took me away with them. And we lived in a nun's convent.
Yeah.
Nunnery. We went and lived in a
A
nunnery.
nunnery.
Yeah, but the thing was, it was still an operational nunnery. So we got to hang around with the nuns.
Okay, they were...
They had a
what,
trampoline.
They're the trampoline.
Yeah. They weren't allowed to talk during the meals, but we went to one of their nun services. I don't know what you call them.
A nun service? I think it's got mass.
They're just like, his nun needs an MOT stat. Her crucifix is missing 3 beads. I'll fail.
Nunneries. So you're just chilling in nunneries.
This one's pregnant.
Oh, fucking hell.
Anyway.
Nun service. 100% mass. It's just mass.
But yeah, I went and lived in a nunnery for a week. It was great.
What was the maddest shit you saw in the nunnery?
Well, probably the nun service because do you know what? I loved it. I loved it so much because they had lots of different kinds of service. So they'd have like mass. Well, I don't think they're Catholic. I think they're a form of Protestant. I wasn't really sure what was going on at any point, but there's a lot of Dutch being spoken and very high a lot of the time. And
You were high?
Yeah, we were allowed to as we didn't smoke on the premise, but it was also in Holland.
Oh, yeah.
It was in Holland. We weren't allowed to smoke on the premise, so we never did that. We followed the rules, but we were also allowed to drink on the premises as long as we didn't drink in certain areas and stay drinking in the area we were in.
So you would go out, get absolutely blazing, and come back to a nunnery to watch a nun service.
I didn't watch it when I was high.
Are you hearing what this is sounding like? This is mental. This has never been said anywhere in the world.
It was such a nice nunnery. But like they were so lovely, and they had like an arts room and a music room. We got a little tour, and they had a garden, and it's almost like I was thinking, if I don't get married or have children, I might just come here when I'm older because they just grow their own vegetables, play on the trampoline, and they just have to go to nun service like 2-3 times a day.
The image of nuns bouncing about on a trampoline is wild. I could only imagine them doing it in their wee, like, I don't know, what's that called? Habits. Yeah. So they're just bouncing about on a trampoline in a habit.
Yeah, just having time of their life.
I can't
When
imagine.
I was on the trampoline listening to Slayer High.
Yeah, I'm going to go. Here we go. Ruining the trampoline.
So they all, because they got so much free time every day, they get into hobbies. And one of the things they got into is they all like had instruments from the music room. So the service we went to was the non-music service, because there's some services which is quiet contemplation. Some services just reading from the Bible. We went to their evening music service where all of them play an instrument, but they're all just like so going for it, like going
yeah,
for
you
it.
would.
One on a fiddle, one on a harp, one on like a tambourine, one on a guitar. None of them could play.
Yeah, I was gonna say
It was
it's sounding awful.
But they have the best time. It's like non-rock band. It was so good. But the ones were all in Dutch. So I was like, oh, here we go.
Right, so they're all in Dutch. None of them can play the instruments. Are they singing?
There was singing, there was clapping, there was noises. It was great.
There was
fun.
noise. There was you in the back of the room going, "What the fuck is going on?"
I was having a great time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So every day we did storytelling, and it was actually really intense. It was lovely. There's like a group of us. So it's run by a man called Marjolein, who's Dutch, and Rafa, who is Israeli. And then on the course was like me representing Shetland. Or
Shout out
maybe
Shetland.
the whole of UK actually.
I was going to say
There's
probably
a
UK.
Dutch lady, a couple of Dutch ladies, a guy from Morocco, a guy from Palestine, a guy from Germany,
What
a guy
a
from Poland.
mix. All
Yeah.
coming together. Israel and
Yeah.
Palestine uniting under
Yeah.
the nunnery roof.
And it was actually really like everyone came together and everyone got on really well. I remember one day the Israeli and Palestinian were having a debate at the kitchen table and the German tried to get involved and they
Fucking
were both
hell,
like,
this is chaos.
No. They're like, this discussion is just for us. And it was really just like, yeah, just sit back and learn by just listening to them kind of thing.
Right, okay. So what you're saying is to solve the crisis in the Middle East, get them stoned and in a nunnery. Clip it. Clip it. This is going viral.
We know you're Jewish. We know you're Muslim.
Yeah.
But have you ever thought about getting stoned in a nunnery? Catholic? We don't know. Don't worry, they'll be out in the trampoline.
Oh, yeah. Get them on a trampoline, exactly. What a wild mix of people.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Only you would end up in a nunnery with all these people.
It's wild. But it was funny because like the first exercise they made us do was we had to write down 7 things that represent us to ourselves, but make them things.
Okay.
So for me, one of the things was like talk. Oh, wait, no, I can't remember. I actually can't remember the 7 things for me. I can remember 7 things that make home for you.
Right.
So if it was security, you might write front door. If it's your
Right.
family, you might write photo albums. If it's comfort, you might write bed. You made it things.
Right, okay.
And 7 things that made you who you are, for example. So if it's like a religion, you might write a Bible or a tambourine if you're one of the nuns. And then...
Iconic religious instrument, the tambourine. I suppose it for the Hare Krishnas it is.
It's true, actually.
They love a tambourine.
Where have they gone? They used to
Dunno.
be everywhere in the 80s and 90s.
I don't know. Could we making a comeback?
I once bought a book off a Hare Krishna person on Princess Street.
Yeah.
I was
Are
very
they,
confused.
like-
I don't know what I'd bought.
It feels like the one religion that's not been had any like controversies. Oh, have they?
I don't know. I mean, I had to buy a book to learn about them.
Let's tell you what, Ross. You want to
That's-
Google Hare Krishna controversies? Let's find out.
It'd
what
be
these...
funny if they had like the worst.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
That was Jonestown.
yeah, shit. I think my only I only really know from
Right.
like George Harrison's songs.
Oh, and he's lovely.
Love a bit of George Harrison. Let's find out live on the podcast what Hare Krishnas have been up to.
Lovely. Maybe
Any
they-
controversies?
Maybe, yeah.
They're clean.
Oh, sorry, Hare Krishnas. That's interesting.
Class.
Maybe that's the right one then.
There we
I
go.
should dig out that book.
Tell you what, by the way, we're learning a lot on this episode. We've already solved the Middle East crisis.
Yeah.
Now we're finding out which religion is best.
Those two go hand in hand.
Yeah. Guys, have you considered joining the Hare Krishnas?
Maybe that's what the nunnery was. I mean, I didn't know what was going on most times.
Fucking hell.
There was a lot of Jesus statues. Although I was saying that when I was in primary school, we studied, you know, when you did religious education?
Yeah.
I remember when we did Sikhism,
Yeah.
and they talked about Guru Nanak, and we
Yeah.
had Guru Nanak communed with God by being in the water for 3 days. And I genuinely, I don't know, because I struggle to listen sometimes. Sometimes
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
amazing, sometimes terrible. I just genuinely thought that this was part of Christianity. So I started praying to Guru Nanak in the house, and my mom was like, "What are you doing?" Sorry, my mom speaks like that because she's Dutch, and she's lived in Shetland for so long. She's like, "Hello, Marjolein, how are you?"
Cancel her. It's
No,
not-
should I phone mom right now so
No.
you can hear what she sounds
No,
like?
no.
She talks like this. Hello. I
she
just
answer?
realized in the context of that story, the way I made my mom sound might sound inappropriate, but she talks exactly like this. This is exactly how she sounds. You can edit that out.
I'm
if
going
you
to
want.
edit all of this
Okay.
out to make you sound as
Wait.
problematic as
I'll
possible.
come in back like this. I can fix this.
You can't. I'm going to fix it.
So my mom was like, "What are you doing?"
I don't like that, but it's definitely like the accent bit. The accent was a lot better.
It's how my mum says, hello, Marjolein. Anywho, she talks. This is why I think I sound funny, because I want to speak from someone who English is their second language, but doesn't have the Dutch accent you'd expect them to have.
Right.
She's Dutch. Yeah, she sounds like this. It makes no sense.
That's good. That's a good accent. How do you do that impression at your mum?
Yeah.
Did she enjoy it?
Yeah. Yeah. But it's funny because I used to do it to so many friends, and then when they meet mum for the first time, they'd be like,
We've already heard your voice.
it is. We just thought you were doing a cartoon voice.
Right. So I tell you what, we've got loads of open tabs here. Let's come back to the nunnery. Is there anything else? We've got, I don't know, we've got about 90 tabs still open.
So
Right,
we did that exercise. That was it.
I'll tell you what, Ross is struggling to keep up with the notes.
Oh, sorry.
We've literally blitzed through this whole podcast. I don't know what the fuck we've talked about. But it's been good.
In the exercise, we had to write down things that made home to us, and we had to explain to the rest of the group our 7 things that made home. And there were 7 things that made you who you are. And then at the end of the exercise, first exercise of the whole week of Storytown, they made you sit by yourself and then pick the thing you cared least about.
Right.
Pick up, say thank you, but goodbye forever, put it in the bin.
Right.
And the first few are fairly easy to do. But then as you went on with the exercise, it got harder and harder because you're picking between like family, friends, Shetland.
Shit.
Like it got to the... It's important to me. Even religion,
You can't
like I was
have
very
Shetland
religious.
without family and friends, though.
But it was the thing is like you had to pick up the thing, like your photo albums, and say, what do I get rid of, the photo albums or the Shetland flag?
Right.
You know? Okay, now I realise now how that sounds. But like, do you know what I mean? It was just like it was like I never go home again, or I never see my family.
Right, okay.
Now I realise how that sounds. But basically, you're picking between these things.
Cullen from 7 to, you have to get to 1.
And I had 3 left, and I was like getting upset by it. And Rafa came over, I was like, are you okay? And I was like, I can't pick. And he's like, you have to. And left. And
Right,
then I was
Rafa.
like getting upset that I could hear other people, and folk in the room were crying. And we all got down to one thing. And when you had that one thing that you were left with, you told a story about that thing. And that became the story you worked on for the whole week. And it was nuts because every day I cried. Every day you'd be taken to a place. And there's this one woman who never cried the whole week. And she told this lovely story about it's her first day of school. She went to school. She got bored. She went home early. Walks in the garden gate and her mom's like, why are you home? She's like, because I wanted to. That was her story. A lovely, sweet story.
No wonder she didn't cry if that's the story she's telling. Jesus.
Well, then the storyteller, Marjolein, got to sit down one day and we're all watching because we did lots of different exercises to challenge us. And her challenge was tell the story as if you're still the age of the little girl. And she told it. Like, now tell the story like you're a teenager telling your friend in your bedroom. She told it. And it's like, now they tell the story like you're a mother in her 40s telling it to their child.
Okay.
Now tell the story like you're on your deathbed and it's the last thing you ever say.
Okay.
And like everyone in the room was in tears.
Apart from her.
No, she was broken.
Right.
Like it was just a week of crying.
See, when you were like, the storytelling was intense, I was like, can't be that bad. And now that is so intense. She cried in the end.
She was crying. We were all crying. It was wild.
And the nuns are like, will you keep the fucking noise down? We're trying to learn the guitar through you.
But that was all kicked off before the robbery. So when I got robbed and they took all my things from me, I think it kind of helped put some perspective into, obviously I want my things, but like that fiddle was so emotionally important to me because of all the gigs I'd played on it.
Right. So that was your one. You picked the fiddle.
Like the bass. No, I'm just talking about when I got robbed.
Right, okay.
Because after the storytelling course, like a month later, or like weeks, it was like 3 weeks later is when the robbery happened, when everything I owned got taken from the house in Amsterdam. Like my bass, my brother painted. It was like, I was so sad to lose that bass, but mostly because my brother had painted it.
Yeah.
It's actually the emotional attachments you put on things are what makes it hurt the hardest.
What a fucking podcast episode this has been. 20 minutes ago, I didn't have a clue what was going on. These last 20 minutes have hit hard. This is good.
I brought you a thing, John.
You brought me a thing?
Yeah,
Oh,
this
Christ.
might cheer you up.
I'm fine. I'm not miserable. I'm not like the women in...
If you ever do lose anything, though, you have to mourn it.
Right, okay.
That's
I
what
lose
I
shit
learnt.
all the time.
Because you have to mourn it. It sounds silly, but like when you leave a job or you lose something, it's good to mourn it like you would a person because it's still a loss from your life.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want the thing I brought you?
Yeah, let's have it.
The gun! No,
Shoot him in the face 10 times. I'm not a German terrorist. Leave me alone.
From Shetland.
Brought me someone from Shetland.
Yeah. That's So I asked if you had any allergies.
Oh, Christ. Puffin poo.
It's edible. We eat it at home.
Puffin poo.
Yeah.
By
Puffins.
Island Larder.
Yeah.
Quote Brown Jules 10 at the checkout for 10% off.
You can't. Nicola, I'm sorry. Don't do that to Nicola.
100% plastic free. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Made carefully by hand. So what is this?
Puffin poo.
It's not actually puffin poo, is it? Home of the Shetland Fudge Company. Is this can't be puffin poo?
Should I try some? I should have made you eat it before I let you read the package.
Homemade puffin poo. It's made in our kitchens. Is it not made in a puffin's arse? What the fuck? Right. I tell you what. Let's just get stuck in.
Yeah.
I can't like get stuff brought in for me and then not eat it.
I know. I was excited.
Not really.
I love it.
My god, it's massive.
I know it's bigger than.
Oh my god, I thought it was going to be like a pellet, like a Malteser. That's huge. Am I about to eat a genuine chunk of puffin shite?
I'll eat it with you if you're scared. No.
I've never said that. Never got it. There are around 100,000 puffins, or Tammy Norries, as you know, as they are known here, nesting in Shetland during the summer months. Now that's a lot of poo. Oh, I fucking hate coconut. It's all coconut, man.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! You made me laugh so hard I bled a little. Sorry, I'm on my periods. That pushed something out.
I'll be honest.
Yike! You didn't even.
Right, so this is.
Do you want a piece? Are you allergic to anything? No. Okay.
I should have said I fucking hate coconut.
I'm sorry. I did ask if you're
Delicious white Belgian chocolate with toasted rice and mallow rolled in coconut. Why didn't I read that? I should have read that before and gone, I don't like coconut. I'm not going to like this. I'd rather eat puffin shite than coconut. That's my take.
I
That's
thought
my
this
hot
was
take.
going to be really nice for the Island Ladder to share their products.
Yeah. If you're looking for any like brand ambassadors, Island Larder, the home of Shetland Fudge Company.
Do you want me to eat that bit then if you don't like
No, fuck it. I can't not eat it now.
You take it home.
But so where's the puffin poo? The puffin poo's the middle bit.
It's just a joke.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Did you think you were actually eating puffin poo?
Yeah, I thought you were.
And you were going to eat it?
Yeah.
You thought it was actual bird poo. You think we eat bird poo?
I'll be honest. Yes. I thought that was genuine puffin shit. And then as I'm reading it, I was like, why they not mention like the other ingredient, like the puffin shit, anywhere? I was reading the ingredients and I was like, it's not mentioned anywhere. That's weird.
Did you think it was puffin poo?
Oh, cheers. Hang it to dry there, Ross. Thanks very much.
That's wild. I can't believe you ate it and think you're eating bird poo. That's really...
Well, I thought if they put it in packaging like this, I thought that's surely going to be fine. Well, I don't like coconut. That's going to be a problem.
I can't believe you think we just sit and chat.
I know that it doesn't bode well for what my opinion of the Shetland
Scrape
is.
it off the rocks.
You're just sitting up there eating free fish and washing it down with
I don't
puffin
think
poo.
there's any kind of shite that we eat. I can't think of any, apart from those coffee bean poops, when we eat animals' shite.
I've had that before.
How was that?
I can't believe I was.
Of course you did.
I can't believe just like I was put under the pressure. I was willing.
Nutty.
This is how.
I
Like,
actually don't like coffee.
this is how low I'll stoop for entertainment. Is I was just willing to eat bud shit on the podcast, and didn't hesitate.
Next week, I'll be like,
Right.
next week.
I tell you what, I'll eat this after.
If
I'll
you
keep
don't
that-
want it, I'll eat it.
No, I'll definitely will. I'm not gonna. Can't believe I thought I ate bud shit.
I can't believe that we eat bird shit.
I'm sorry, but it didn't feel out of the realms of
least-
possible. It felt like quite a possible thing that could happen.
Felt like an insincere apology.
I don't know where we go from here.
And then, right, was there any loose ends you hadn't tied up? We know that Hare Krishna's good.
Hare Krishna's good. Not good at this. What was they say the name of the episode was going to be? Shaft and Gammon. What a fucking episode this has been. This has been genuinely been probably my favourite I've ever done. It's been amazing. And I finished off with some bird poo.
What else do you want to talk? How long are your episodes again?
Just about an hour.
Oh.
But we'll just wrap it up with a few of the things we ask all the guests.
Okay, cool.
There's actually some structure on this since the last time you were on. Unlike that car crash that first time you were on. You were like the second ever guest.
Was I?
Yeah, you were the second guest. It went much first than you.
And it's You Me Much tonight?
It is much tonight.
Yeah,
Much is closing.
I'm
hosting.
just doing 5. I'm going to go work on the 5 after this.
Yeah, I think hopefully someone cancels, push it to 10. Right, we'll get hit up the last bit of the show, Marjolein, right? You need to tell us. What the fuck do we need to tell us? I've written it down. Right. What's your algorithm? What kind of weird videos do you watch online? Well, hit me. 60 seconds. What kind of weird videos do you watch online?
Is this reading for you? If this resonates with you, this is for you. And then my phone proceeds to tell me some freaky kind of tarot reading that just proves to me that technology listens to me all the time.
Right.
Because it's true, but it's always exactly what I shouldn't do.
Right.
Because I'm like, I should do this, which is like, no, Marjolein, don't.
I don't know if you answered the question there, I'll be honest. What? So I was like, what kind of videos do you watch online? And you were like, and then you just went, tarot? I don't know.
I just think of my tarot cards.
All right, you get tarot cards.
I get those readings when people are like shuffling cards.
Right.
When they're shuffling the cards, like there are no what do they? There's no words here, no hashtags. So if you've come across this reading, it's for you. Yeah, it's the same readers I get all the time, and then they proceed to tell you about like they've been thinking about you again.
Is there any tarot readers you want to shout out? Any good ones?
There are, but I actually can't remember anyone's names off by heart.
Don't worry,
do you know how quickly I wonder one would appear if I went on TikTok? Can I do that, or is that rude?
Let's do it.
So if we look at so I get that.
Never had a guess. I get browsed TikTok before.
Funny videos. I wish I got more funny videos. I feel like my TikTok. This is scary. Okay, no, read it. No. Okay, so like,
is
should I show the camera? That's why I'm scared. No. Okay, that's a terrible one. Let's go roll up. That's different than what's the most different. I get a lot of this man who reads things. He's a computer man.
Okay.
What's this one? Spirituality Society. Oh, this might be about eclipse season. We're in it right now. We have to all be very careful.
Eclipse season. What's dangerous about eclipse season?
There's a lot of changes going on right now.
There is a lot of changes.
A lot of shedding happening.
A lot of shedding.
It depends. Like, this is actually quite interesting and ties into this episode. However your 2013 to 2015 played out.
Hating David Cameron.
As this eclipse season moves through and we go into the rest of this year, for the next period, we're going to mirror the same planet alignment we had in that period, 2013 to 2015.
Right.
But on the other axis.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going into the Aries axis.
Of course.
So however your 13, 15 played out, what I was starting then or what was not good then, things are going to be flipped turned on their head.
Right.
And I'm like, that's interesting because that's when I got into comedy and wanted to do this. And
out
went
of
wrong.
comedy.
No, what I think is that I'll have a good time.
Okay. I'm going to play that accent you did on the public episode and you're going to get cancelled.
It's my mom's voice. Oh my God, I'll stitch him a video of my mom.
Right, final things before you go, Marjolein.
I'm sorry.
No, that was perfect.
I'm really sad. I wanted one of the good readings. I'm going to do it on silent to find one.
Don't worry, we've got the last 2 questions for you and then we're hitting the road.
So basically, if you want me to surmise, I get a lot of this reading is for you. And then they proceed to tell me either someone is infatuated with me or I should let someone go.
Let them go. Let them go.
Because they're a stalker. No, it's always contrast, one after the other, one after the other, one after the other.
Sweet.
But they always say that I am...
It's just for you.
Yeah, just
and this
for
podcast,
me,
if you're listening, it's just for you.
Yeah, it's just for me.
Unless you're watching it with a friend, then I don't know.
Readings.
Who would watch a podcast with a friend? Fuck that. Other part, you get to suggest a guest that I've got to try and get on for a future podcast episode. Who do you find funny? And I'll try and get them on the podcast.
That's a great question.
Thanks.
I think you should get on George Harrison and ask him about Hare Krishna.
George Harrison, I'll be honest, that's probably not the most impossible one we've had on this podcast.
But he's dead.
I know, that was the joke.
Oh. But my mom would be happy. She loves him. Do you want to hear how happy she'd be? No. So, who should you get on this podcast? Oh, I wish I had started some kind of beef with them. Then you get them on, and then they'd say they're half of the beef. But I don't think
Marley's coming on the podcast.
I have no beef with Marley.
Well, he's not giving you fish anymore.
Well, I think that'll happen again. He probably...
Keep us updated. We'll update the listeners
Who's other
Marley
people
and
that
me.
have suggested?
It's comedians normally.
So they suggest other comedians.
Other comedians you like, maybe like Scotland, England, anywhere.
Oh, so I can do like a serious answer.
Yeah.
Why don't you speak to yourself in a mirror? Because we never get to hear about you.
I mean, the first 40 episodes of this podcast were just me screaming into a mirror. So
Was it actually?
yeah, there was a lot of solos. Maybe it's 25 or something. I don't know. Lost
Okay,
count.
maybe you need to speak to someone else then. Who would be a fun person to have on this podcast?
We're keeping this in.
Richard Attenborough is dead as well, isn't he?
I think Richard Attenborough's dead. Yeah.
Okay, well,
Also, there we go. First person to ever tap out at suggest a guest because they couldn't think of a fucking name.
I don't know. There's
Right.
people. I
Right,
don't know.
finally,
who you know.
right.
I
This
don't-
how that bit went. This next bit's not going to go well. You then get to recommend, suggest like a film, an album, a TV show, something you've watched recently. You think more people need to hear or watch.
Outrageous Fortune is the best TV show of all time, written by James Griffin and Rachel Lang from New Zealand, and it ran from like 2005 to 2011. It won every award in every like New Zealand TV show. Robin Malcolm played the lead. In fact, Anthony Starr was in it playing twins. You might know him as Homelander from The Boys. Incredible show.
Oh, I like him.
It's a show about a criminal family in West Auckland. When the pilot, the dad has to go to his sentencing for stealing mobile phones. Routine job for a criminal family. And they think he'll be 6 months, 3 months out in good behaviour. He gets 4 years.
Oh.
The mom is like, enough. We're no longer doing crime. But by this point, all their children are in their late teens or early 20s, and they only know a life of crime. And it's how does a family like that go straight, yet survive on the minimum wage in New Zealand, which is incredibly low.
Right.
Incredible show. That and Gossip Girl, because oh my god, Blair is the
Gossip
best
Girl.
women in the world. I love Blair.
Outrageous Fortune.
Yeah, it's incredible. But the thing is, it did come out in 2005 in New Zealand. There are slurs and jokes that are incredibly
That
dated
you
already.
endorse.
No,
That
incredibly
she
dated.
fully endorses.
But it's a really good show, and it gets better. Also, it started with very low budget, so when you start watching it, almost has like the look and sound of old soap.
All right, okay.
And it almost puts people off and like, no, stick with it. And the first episode, you have to get to grips with the family, and it's a big family. So it's almost like introductory, just to know what everyone's character's like.
Right.
But from about episode or 2 or 3 on, you can never tell where it's going. Because they're a criminal
like
family,
that,
so they're
yeah.
always trying to like one-up each other, or they're getting done over by another person, and they're always trying to like fight and play against each other. So it's actually a really
Love
good show.
the sound of this.
It's
by the way.
great.
That sounds
So
class.
good.
What a top recommendation, even though you didn't suggest a guest, but we'll leave it there. We'll not bother with that.
Get Anthony Starr on from
Anthony
Outrageous
Starr,
Fortune.
Homelander from The Boys.
Oh
An
my
easy
God.
get.
He is my favourite character.
He's the
on
best
show.
villain on any TV show.
Villain? No, but he's like the main good one.
Yeah, but
He's the main good
he's
one.
the main good one.
He's the main Homelander.
Marjolein, thank you very much for coming on this episode. I loved having you back. This has been fun. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye. Bye, Ralph. Bye.